The stranger on the train gets the version of you your own people never meet. You can sit there with your phone face down on your thigh, watching your reflection shake in the window, and suddenly a sentence leaves your mouth that has been locked behind your ribs for years. Not because that person earned your trust, not because they understand you better, because they are temporary. That is the whole trick. You do not confess to strangers because you are reckless. You do it because your nervous system is smart. It knows that truth is dangerous when it can change your life. The people close to you can look at you differently tomorrow. They can bring it up next week. They can quietly rebuild your identity around the one thing you finally admitted. A stranger cannot do any of that. They are an emotional trash fire in reverse. You throw something in, it burns bright for a minute, then the whole scene disappears into the dark. That relief is real, but it lies to you. You feel clean after saying it, because the secret finally left your body for a second, like opening a pressure valve, like cracking a window in a room that has smelled wrong for years. Your chest loosens, your jaw unclenches. You breathe deeper, and for one small stretch of time you are not performing. That is why these confessions happen in places built for passing through. A train seat, a rideshare after too much silence, an airport bar where no one asks for your history, a comment section at midnight under a fake username while the blue light paints your face like hospital light. Your truth comes out easiest in rooms with no memory. Because closeness is expensive. Real intimacy is not just being seen. Real intimacy is being seen and then living with the consequences. It is saying the ugly thing on a normal Tuesday and still having to make coffee beside that person the next morning. It is letting the truth sit in the room long enough to become furniture. Most people do not fear honesty. They fear update damage. They fear that once the secret is spoken, the whole social software of their life gets patched against them. Family starts hovering. A partner starts reading subtext into every pause. Friends become careful in that fake soft voice that makes you feel like cracked glass. The secret is no longer yours once it enters a permanent room. So the stranger becomes the perfect witness, present enough to absorb it, absent enough to never charge interest. That is the anonymity mistake. You confuse lack of consequence with safety. You confuse disappearing with understanding. You confuse being untraceable with being loved. And modern life makes this worse. Your whole day is already built around controlled exposure. You post the right angle of your mind. You send the edited version of your pain. You tell coworkers just tired instead of I'm disappearing in plain sight. You keep group chat personality, work personality, family personality, dating app personality, each one like a different tab draining the same battery. By night, you are exhausted from carrying your own PR team. Then one anonymous human appears, and for a second, the costume zipper breaks. That moment feels holy. It is mostly oxygen. There is a darker layer under this. Sometimes the stranger is not safer because they are kind. They are safer because they do not matter enough to wound you. That sounds cold, but it is honest. Your real people matter, their judgment lands, their disappointment has weight. A stranger's opinion slides off like rain on a train window. So when you confess to someone you will never see again, you are not always choosing connection. Sometimes you are choosing a witness with no authority. That is not intimacy, that is controlled demolition. You let one wall fall in a building no one lives in. And this is why the relief can feel almost morbid, dark, beautiful even. You finally say the thing, but only in a place where it cannot become part of your real life. You borrow honesty the way people borrow money when they are broke. It helps for the night. The debt is still waiting at home. Research around self-disclosure has long suggested that people open up when the social risk feels lower. That part is human. Shame shrinks when it is spoken aloud. The problem is where you speak it. If truth only comes out in disposable spaces, your real life never gets to metabolize it. The poison leaves the bottle for 1 minute, then goes right back into the bloodstream. So what do you do with that? You stop calling yourself broken for it. This urge is not proof that you are fake. It is proof that some part of you is starving for a room where honesty does not cost blood. That part deserves respect. It has probably been protecting you for years. The goal is not forcing brutal openness with everyone. The goal is noticing the difference between a safe exit and a safe home. A safe exit is the stranger, the burner account, the late-night confession to a person passing through. It gives release. A safe home is rarer. It is the friend who does not turn your pain into a project. The partner who does not interrogate every detail like customs at the border. The therapist maybe, the sibling maybe. One real place where the truth can stay in the room without eating your status alive. And that shift starts smaller than people think. Sometimes it looks like replacing the polished lie with a rougher truth, not the full secret, just less acting. I've been off lately. I'm more overwhelmed than I look. That hit me harder than I expected. Tiny, honest sentences, small doors. Real life can only hold what you gradually teach it to hold. Sometimes it means noticing where you always become anonymous, the fake account, the long walks with someone you barely know, the oversharing after 2 drinks. Those places are not random. They are maps. They show you exactly what your life is missing. And sometimes it means admitting that the secret is not staying hidden because it is too dark. It is staying hidden because your identity has been built like a glass office tower around it. Efficient, impressive. One honest stone in the wrong place and the whole thing might crack. So you keep the stone in your pocket and tell it to passing strangers like a bedtime prayer. But your life cannot change around a truth it never gets to hear. The stranger was never the miracle. The miracle was the version of you that finally stopped guarding the door for 1 minute. That version is still yours. The question is where it gets to live. What is one thing you admitted too easily to a stranger, but still cannot say out loud to the people who know your name?